Like any specific memories of whenever music just had a huge impact on your life?
Well, there's also mentally it's affected, I think, all of us in some way, where we find that one piece that we relate to specifically. Yeah. For me, it's like when the stars began to fall.
What about your self-esteem? How's it affected your self-esteem?
I'm definitely way more confident since I started playing an instrument. Since music, being a musician and making music, you have to go out and perform. And super vulnerable, which means you have to have confidence to like actually do it well.
Has music ever helped you through hard times? If you guys don't feel comfortable like speaking out, you're welcome to like write it on a piece of paper, and then we could just like randomly pull them out. You guys cool with that?
Yeah, sure.
You got paper? I got paper.
I want to see saying that. Like, I don't want to pull the whole, oh, I'm deaf card, but music has definitely affected me in that way because it's something that I'm only going to be able to experience for a certain amount of time because eventually I will be completely deaf. So it's something that I cherish more.
I'm gonna be. Here, write something on this. Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. We'll give you a few minutes to do that. The phone.
Take from the pencil bag.
And what exactly do you want us to write?
Anything you feel like writing.
About music.
About
Yes.
And its influence it's had on you.
Did it really? Okay, so music has given me an opportunity to give back to others on an emotional level and help them through whatever they may be going through. I use it in a way to help others the way it has helped me. So, what do you guys think about that?
I think that's like the good philanthropic way to think of music, in the sense of, like, partially we do it because it's what makes us feel good, but we also pursue it as a career because we don't want the experience of music affecting our lives to stop with us. Like, we want that to continue on to another generation and more people. It's something that's, like, it's been passed on forever, and it's not something that we want to be responsible for stopping.
Yeah.
Music has influenced me to be more confident in myself and show others what music can do to you. Music makes you go into another world of beauty. My band teacher in high school, Mr. Sinks, inspired me to keep music always in my life.
Can you guys imagine ever quitting playing your instrument? Yeah. How do you see that going?
It means that I have to give up my current career path. It would also mean that I would be at a job where I wouldn't want to be.
Do you think you'd be happy?
Not as happy as I think I can be.
Yeah, I think like every day we kind of go through, musicians sometimes go through this struggle of having others talk to you and go, you know, you want to be a music teacher. How is that going to, well, you're not going to make enough money, or if you're just going to be a musician, how are you going to get a job and that kind of stuff. But they can't see that, you know, it's not about the money, or it's not about how big of a job we get. It's just about the love that we have for it.
Yeah. So like, not thinking about the money, but more about like how much we love it and how much we want to help others through it.
I think beyond just it as a career, I could never see myself completely leaving music, because I mean, I've seen a friend of mine who actually did that. He completely left it for a time and he had to come back because he missed it so much.
Music has allowed me the freedom to explore myself through taking on different characters within the study of different pieces.
Anybody have any thoughts?
I think it's fairly true, because sometimes, for example, in Pineapple Pull, one of the pieces we're doing, I have to take on the role of being a soloist when usually I'm not that kind of person.
So you kind of have to like change your like mannerisms kind of to fit the part.
Yes.
And it kind of makes you be more flexible as a person. Like, we learned how to play jazz and classical and just try to be well-rounded musicians and stuff.
I also think that, like, for my personal experience, that sometimes it's a little scary to change who you are and explore the person that you want to be, and so doing it through music gives you kind of like a little safe house to do it. Like, different pieces have different characters, and so you can take on something that's cocky and arrogant, and through music it's acceptable, but in society it's not really acceptable. So I feel like music can give you a safe house for exploring yourself.
Okay, one thing I noticed throughout this whole entire discussion is that we did speak about things that are more personal to us. And I found this TED Talk video, and it talks more about the physical things. And the very first concept that it explains was something that I never really thought about. So, we're gonna watch it. Yeah. We're not gonna watch all of it.
Next 5 minutes, my intention is to transform your relationship with sound. Let me start with the observation that most of the sound around us is accidental and much of it is unpleasant. We stand on street corners shouting over noise like this and pretending that it doesn't exist. Well, this habit of suppressing sound has meant that our relationship with sound has become largely unconscious. There are 4 major ways sound is affecting you all the time, and I'd like to raise them in your consciousness today. First is physiological. Sorry about that, I've just given you a shot of cortisol, your fight-flight hormone. Sounds affecting your hormone secretions all the time, but also your breathing, your heart rate, which I just also did, and your brain waves.
Yeah.
It's not just unpleasant sounds like that that do it. This is so. It has a frequency of roughly 12 cycles per minute. Most people find that very soothing, and interestingly, 12 cycles per minute is roughly the frequency of the breathing of a sleeping human. So it's a deep resonance with being at rest. We also associate it with being stress-free and on holiday. The second way in which sound affects you is psychological. Music is the most powerful form of sound that we know that affects our emotional state. This is guaranteed to make most of you feel pretty sad if I leave it on. Music is not the only kind of sound, however, which affects your emotions. Natural sound can do that too. Birdsong, for example, is a sound which most people find reassuring. There's a reason for that. Over hundreds of thousands of years, we've learned that when the birds are singing, things are safe. It's when they stop you need to be worried. The third way in which sound affects you is cognitively. You can't understand two people talking at once, or in this case, one person talking twice. You have to choose which me you're going to listen to. We have a very small amount of bandwidth for processing auditory input, which is why noise like this is extremely damaging to productivity. If you have to work in an open plan office like this, your productivity is greatly reduced, and whatever number you're thinking of, it probably isn't as bad as this. You are 1/3.
All right.
Okay. So basically, this video, it just discusses more of the physical aspects that sound and music can affect us.
Not only emotionally, but in everyday life. Like if all sound was gone, I can't even imagine how different we would be as human beings.
What are your guys' thoughts?
I think it's fairly accurate to say. I think the only difference is that musicians have the opportunity to try and listen to all things and develop a more cognitive and awareness of other things that are going on. So like a multitasking of hearing.
Nice. I have an interesting question. So, whenever I was watching that, I was thinking about how the different noises and how abrasive they are versus soothing, like the waves and the alarm clock. How is that something that you can take into your musicianship, and whenever you're performing a piece, use the sounds that you're producing in the piece to elect feelings physiologically with your audience? Does that make sense? So, how would you go about doing that?
I think the movements you make when you play can definitely also play a part in how your audience reacts to your performance. And so if you're playing a more soothing piece, you may want to imitate kind of how a wave makes you feel in your movements and even in your playing. If I'm imagining that helps. And it definitely comes out through the sounds that you make in your playing.
Yeah, so like whenever you're playing, if you're imagining the piece to be a wave, like a wave, you want the audience to feel like it's a wave, so you imagine and feel like it's a wave, and so it kind of comes through the way you look while you're playing, but also through your sound. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm assuming we're done. So, one final question. Is there anything that we could improve on?
As teachers.
Yeah.
Kelly's like, yes.
Yeah. We want there to be constructive comments. We want to get better.
You guys just all at that point in the semester. So we should have brought coffee.
Coffee
Yeah.
to every class.
Next time.
Yeah. Every single class.
That's how you can improve. Bribe us with food.
Instead of just being like, hey, come with us.
Exactly.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you.
There's a pen.